Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to a very special episode of Grandstand Gurus, the number one sports podcast on the Explosion Network. I am one of your hosts. My name is Jack Kruse, and I'm joined this week by Ashley Hobley.
I'm alone.
And yes, and no one else. Ladies and gentlemen, this is, I guess, technically episode 3, but the second time we've done it. We're going to go episode 3, because the last one we did was, even though we recorded them all in the same go, and we released them as 2 parts. So there was part 1 and part 2. This is part 3 of Sideline Chats. Just a little frog in my throat. My voice just broke. That's slightly embarrassing. This is part 3 of Sideline Chats. This is a bit more intimate, a little bit more of a chilled out, a little bit more informal Grandstand Gurus, if you will. No set topics. We will have a general topic to discuss, but because it's just the two of us, we just want to have a chilled out little discussion and see what each other thinks about things, and I guess see where the conversation goes. Does that sound good to you, Ash?
That does sound good.
Good.
Let's get into it.
Sure, I guess. I mean,
yeah.
Do you want to run the show? You want to take over?
No, you can run the show.
Well, I guess
I'm no Kieran.
That's attaboy. I guess we'll get the rigmarole out of the way first, and just go. What were your highlight? What was your highlight? Did you have a highlight?
Not really, but there was one piece of history made over the weekend, which was that Nathan Walker, was the first ever Australian to play in the NHL. He played for the Washington Capitals, and he scored on debut as well. So,
did he really?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Well, sort of. It was credited to him like a period after they reviewed the tape. But yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he got a deflection. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I don't know I don't know if he'd count that. You'd sort of want your first goal to be sort of like one off the puck. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Something you could actually celebrate.
Yeah, exactly. And they'll be like, oh, by the way, that goal was yours. Like, you'd actually be disappointed, I reckon.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
What about you, Jack?
I had a couple of highlights from the weekend. Now, I did not catch any of UFC 216, but I did see some of the highlights. And we've spoken about Mighty Mouse in depth on this podcast. And I guess his standings in the UFC, his worth, whether or not he is a worthy, I guess, whether he's worthy to be considered in the greatest of all time because of, I guess, the competition that he's had to face, and is it that he's in a really shallow talent pool because of the division he's in, or is it that he is just
so much better?
That good, yeah. He's that far removed from anyway, in his match against Ray Borg, the title, he pulled off probably the most insane finish I have and I've seen some pretty, there's been some crazy finishes in the UFC. You know, we've got the Showtime kick from back in the day where Showtime Pettis jumped off the cage and kicked Benson Henderson. We've had crazy Superman punch knockouts. We've had, flying kicks and flying knees and, head kicks and all kinds of things. But this one just about takes the cake. He lifted his opponent up to sort of suplex him to take him down, and in mid-air transitioned into an armbar and finished him. That was absolutely insane. And to pull that move off just is insane on its own. But to do it in a championship match against a championship contender, this guy's no mug. He's good enough to be challenging for the title. Mighty Mouse has got to be given his props as, I guess, the probably the greatest champion the UFC's ever had. He holds the record now, 11 title defenses. He's gone past Anderson Silva. The guy's a legend. He will have to be considered a legend of the sport now. And that was just absolutely insane.
Yeah, it was very pretty.
That's a good way to describe it. The timing on that
is mental, yeah.
Perfect. It was absolutely perfect. That's the kind of thing that you see people when they're, you watch training videos of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and people try, funky moves and stuff. I was watching a video today, someone was trying a helicopter arm bar where they were trying to get someone up up on their feet and spin them around with their feet and then transition to an arm bar and stuff like that. Like the stuff that you just cannot do when someone's resisting.
Yeah.
And that was just a special move. So I thought that was fantastic. My other highlight was the NBL team, Melbourne United, going up against Oklahoma City in like I guess a friendly practice match kind of thing, and everyone just thought, oh, we go over there and get our backsides handed to us, and it'll be a romp. And they just about won it. They were so close, two rejections in the last 10 seconds, and but they lost by a point. But still, what a fantastic effort. Just goes, I mean, and it's a practice match, it's a friendly, so you can sort of take it with a grain of salt. But for them to come out, do what they did, when we've had other things
against the Thunder, who are like a contender.
Yeah, exactly. I thought it was super impressive. When we've had things like Arsenal and Juventus and stuff come into Australia and playing against our local teams and just pantsing them with their like third string team, I thought that was a pretty fair effort to go over there and do it as well. Pretty stellar stuff. So we'll dive into that a little bit later on. I know everyone's favorite segment, but let's kick in to part 3 of Sideline Chats. And I want to talk about, I guess, so for our listeners out there, a bit of background about us. We, the Explosion Network, have been brought together by, mainly it was, kind of funny that brought us together. If you don't know what that is, go and find out. I'm not going to explain.
Google.
But a mutual love for, I guess, video games and pop culture brought us together. And I think a really important thing for young youth, that's a oxymoron, who are...
You're just reconfirming.
Yeah, I guess
an oxymoron would be an old youth.
An old youth, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a word. I used words. Can you tell I'm super relaxed in this episode?
Yeah.
It's not as intense. I like it. I actually like this. This is good. Video games, right?
Yep.
I think sports video games are really important for kids growing up to better understand the intricacies of sports. And so I think I just wanted to have a chat about sports video games and what our experiences were and what our favorite games were growing up. And I was thinking about this a lot today. Thinking about how, because I decided on the topic when it was just going to be asked about how are we going to go about discussing, I want to talk about video games and what can we talk about? And I started thinking about it, and it really, a lot of the sports that I'm interested in or have been interested in or have taken interest in over the years, I've gotten into those sports through video games. Like I didn't watch the sport first and then follow the video game, or then go and buy the video game. Like NHL, like you brought up NHL, and I'd completely forgotten about it. I purely found an interest in the NHL and started following the NHL back in the day because of NHL. I think it was 2K5 or 4 back in the day on like PS2. It would have been. I think, and I learned about those games through playing the video games. Learned about what the different stats meant, the rules, and things like that. Similar with NFL, like I did watch NFL before I played the video games, but I learnt the intricacies of the NFL by playing the Madden games and putting hundreds of hours into them and that kind of thing. So,
I think any Australian's interest in NFL is basically down to Madden.
Yeah, just about. Yeah, just about. It's that sort of gateway into the into the sport. Were there any sports that I guess you found interest in through playing the video games first?
I think probably in hindsight, cricket, because I remember playing cricket. I think it was Ashes Cricket 97, like on the PC.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah,
maybe,
so,
yeah.
I think one of my friends had it, and I borrowed it one day and just got into it. So that's probably a gateway drug. I mean, I remember having on the Super Nintendo, I think it was some sort of soccer game, like international soccer, but it wasn't that great. Like you'd control one player, and that would be the actions for every single player on the field. So if you went diagonal, everybody went with diagonal. Yeah,
that sounds horrible.
Yeah, it wasn't not very precise. Not compared to what we've got now, but yeah, it's always fun. Yeah,
no
those
doubt.
early days.
I reckon, and like it's funny. I was thinking about, like I said, I've been thinking about this all day, and I was thinking about my top 25 list of like my favorite games of all time, right? And not one of them is a sports game. And sports games are probably the video games that I've put the most time into over the years.
Yeah.
Like just cumulatively. Like I also talk about the NHL games. You know, I played those extensively. I used to go around to like my friend's place, and probably like the games I've played most with other people as well. I used to go around to my friend's place, Tom, and we used to like play. Like his dad lived around the corner, so when he would go and stay with his dad on weekends, I would walk around to his dad's place and we'd play NHL and just like quick matches and stuff like that. And but even like the cricket games, like hundreds of hours into the EA cricket games, and they were so good. Like for what they were so good. And it's such a shame that EA doesn't really make Australian sports games anymore. No. It's such a shame because the EA AFL game is still the best AFL game we've ever had. The EA cricket games still kill all of the other cricket, like the Ricky Ponting cricket that came out, which was terrible, and then the like Ricky Ponting 2, which came out, and like the last couple Don Bradman ones haven't been great. There's a new one coming out this year, Ashes cricket, which I will get, which hopefully is good, but who knows. You know, what else has there been? Like games I've put, like even like the wrestling games, like I kind of count them as sports games. I put thousands of hours into those games. All the WWE, you know, creating players and creating wrestlers and doing like the story modes and building up their stats and all kinds of crazy stuff. What sports game do you reckon you put the most time into?
Honestly, it's Football Manager, because that is like
Football Manager.
Yeah, I got into the management games like really early on. Like I think I had Premier Manager 2 or something. Like it's like a terrible like text-based game with barely any animations or anything. And all you do is just train your players as hard as possible until they got as tough as possible, even if they got injured all the time. But yeah, I probably put hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours into Football Manager. It's just something you can play, and then you can be doing something else as well, just sort of catching up on TV or watching the cricket or
real
something.
Sport.
Yeah, real sport. And then just paying attention for a little bit. Yeah, so
it's funny you bring that up. I was just thinking about, did you ever play the AFL, the Aussie Rules text-based game on like it was like a PC game you download it?
I played that.
I can't remember exactly what it was called. I think it was just like Aussie Rules, and it was basically like it had all of like the clubs. Like you pick, so you start off, you like put your name in, you put what position you play, and then you pick like your starting club, and you can pick. It had like every single football club in the country in it, so you could go. Like I know I picked like Rosebud, obviously, because that was the team that I played for my junior footy and whatever. And you would go through, and it was just like Sims. It was just like, you know, weekend match, and then it would pop up with a thing. It's like, it was like a choose your own adventure sort of thing. It would be like, you know, play the match, you know, and it would just randomly generate. You got 4 kicks, kick 1 goal, whatever, and you would get. Things would change based on how you went and whether you got to the finals or whatever and who you beat. But there would random things would be like, oh, you're walking down the street and a lady drops some money out of her purse. What do you do? And the option pops up. It's like pick up the money, run after her and give it to her, or pick up the money, put it in your pocket and run away. And it's like, if you'd be like, oh, do the right thing, pick up the money, go and give it to her. You frighten the and then it's like, you run up to the old lady to give her your money, you frighten her, she turns around, hits you in the face with her bag, in shock, you get a concussion and miss 2 weeks. And like just random stuff like that, or you would get like injuries and things, and it would go all the way through to like, you would do your whole career, like from like under 9 juniors through to like, you know, TAC Cup, you know, playing for the Stingrays, and then up into like the VFL, and like then you go to Kangaroo Flat, and then you get drafted to the AFL, and all this stuff, and like it was just crazy. It was so good and it was so fun, and then you go all the way through your career, and like you get to the end, and then you retire, and it's sort of like it's just this weird thing, and like I think I did it a few times, but it was just fun, stupid thing because you're literally just clicking the mouse. You're doing nothing else than just clicking like next. Yep, option 1, option 2, next. But it's just like, weird.
It is weird.
yeah. But I remember Oh god, there's so many. There's been so many great games, great sports games over the years. The cricket ones I always loved, like, and I remember like because you would get them. I think the best one was the last EA Sports one, which was the Ashes one, which was like 2007. I think that one was released. That was like my favorite. I reckon I put probably. Oh god, I couldn't even tell you, hundreds and hundreds of hours into that game because I would like do every single like. There was heaps of different game modes. You could do like test series, 1 day try series. You could do like the what was the was it not Buller Cup? What's the milk cup that used to be the
the Sheffield Shield, but I think it was the Pura milk.
Pura Cup, yeah. I think it was Pura. Does that sound right?
I don't know. I don't
think
they're a milk company anymore.
Pure. I'm pretty sure it was. What was that? Pure Cup. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
No, it really doesn't.
No, you could do all of those ones, and then like I would go and like I would start and I would put it on like the hardest difficulty, and I would play because if you put up like hardest difficulty, it was like realistic. So it was like if you start like a test match and you try and like do like a power shot off your first ball, you're like 100% chance you'll nick that and it'll go through the keeper. So I would like put on like that. Like the amount of times I played like full test match, like no skip, because you could like skip, simulate for the test matches and stuff like that to get to, because they're like 5 days or whatever. Like the amount of times I loved it, like play like a full test match, like start from like day one, ball one, and playing a video game, leaving balls is just the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard of your life. Like, leave outside off, leave it, outside off, leave it, outside. This one's on the stumps, block it. And then like, as the overs go on, you start to wear the ball out, you start playing some shots and the field changes and God.
No, I don't have the patience. I don't have the patience. 6 or 10 balls in, that's when I start swinging the bat.
Swinging. And there was those times as well, yeah.
Out to mid-on where there's no fielders.
There was probably, exactly, yeah. There was probably just as many times where I started a game with the intention of like doing that, and like 2 overs in, I'm like, power shot, Nick. Like, I'll just go for one. Oh God, that was so much fun. We need a good cricket. I hope this Ashes one that comes out is going to be good. And Big Ant don't let me down.
Yeah,
it's been.
Well, it'll be their 3rd one, so hopefully they've iterated a couple of times.
Yeah,
it's impressive they've got the license this time, which is
that makes a big difference. I remember when the Ricky Ponting cricket game came out. Do you remember when that was like the first one after the EA Sports games sort of stopped, and because EA still had the license for a little bit, and it was like. It was like the only name in the game was Ricky Ponting, and it was like Sean Wayne for like Shane Warne or whatever, and like Gary McGrath and stuff like that, like
Angie Gilchurch.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, yes, exactly. Oh God, jeez, that game was horrible. That game was really bad. I remember. My mate, because we played cricket, my mate got that game and I went around to his house to play it. And he's like, "Oh, it's so good." I'm like, "This game's terrible." But the EA game's just like shit on this thing. But yeah, so what?
Yeah, the other series are probably like FIFA, obviously. Tons of hours into FIFA. Also Pro Evo, because during that early 2000s period, probably Pro Evolution Soccer was the superior soccer game out of the two of the more realistic ones. So that's the one we would always pick up, and me and my brothers would spend hours and hours playing each other until somebody got fed up of losing.
PES is really popular in Europe, isn't it?
Yeah, it would be. I think in Asia as well. So
probably.
They have the trouble. They have the trouble where they don't have the licenses for a lot of as many licenses as FIFA does. But
yeah, of course.
So.
They do all the Spanish clubs and all that. I know that's where they put like all their resources
get
into.
Specific clubs, which is they got like Liverpool and Barcelona and a few other Spanish and German clubs, I think. So
yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
interesting. Trying to think of other like sports games that I've played, like bad. Like FIFA's probably the other one that I've FIFA 10 would have been. Is I reckon the game that I've put the most hours into of any game.
Yeah.
That game, because I got it at a time when it was like, I And I'll never forget it. So I bought, like, I'd never played. I was not into FIFA. I've never been. I am slightly interested now, but not so much. And I'd never been into soccer at all. But my mate had the World Cup FIFA game. Remember they did like the World Cup edition?
Special.
And it was like the special release or whatever, and you literally just play as the countries and play through the World Cup or whatever. Yeah. We worked in the restaurant at the time, and we would go back to his house every night after work and just play that for like days. And just like, you know, back and forth playing like, you know, different matches, trying to beat each other. It was pretty much just like you'd play as France, Spain, Germany, or England, or Italy. Like no one would play as Australia or anything like that. You just pick the top teams and Brazil and that kind of thing. And then I was like hooked. I was like, I need this. I need to play like this game. And I went and bought FIFA 10 and like, took it. And then after that, like every single night I would play it. Like I would come home from work like 11 or whatever, pop it in and just do career mode for like, never played like multiplayer against anyone or anything, but just do career mode and would like never ever lose. But it was just so addictive. Yeah. And like, I think the thing I enjoyed the most about it was building my team, and like they were my team. Like I went and got, like I was like, because I picked Chelsea, right? They were my team, so I like kept like Frank and Terry and these guys, and
everybody else was expendable.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, Drogba was there. He was good old. Yeah, jeez, that takes me back. But like I went and got like Jefferson Farfan, and I remember he was like my favorite. Like Jefferson Farfan was like my favorite player, and I did no idea about anything about him. I'm like, going to get him, I'm going to get this player, that player, and then like all the no-name players I would pick like to trade in and stuff, and like get these great contracts. And some people would knock me back, and I remember, oh god, yeah, I would play from like 11 to like 4 in the morning every single night, and then like sleep until midday because I was working hospitality, so it didn't matter. That was just the life. And I loved it. I had so much fun with it, and I created this team, and they were like my boys, like they were like my sons, and I was like their manager. I remember how stupid it was, but I did this. I had to stop, right, and I had to move to like the next version, because what happened was I glitched the game somehow. But you do this thing where you trade in players, and you you have your budget obviously with like the money that you sort of like your salary cap or whatever.
Yeah.
And you use it for player wages and buying players and stuff like that. And I had heaps. Like I'd won like every single championship or whatever. And when you signed a player, you could do like, you had to do like, when the trade period comes up. I don't know if you played like the FIFA games like that.
Yeah.
Where you do the trade period and you give them their offer. But then you could do, in FIFA 10, you could do like goal bonuses, like bonuses per goal or whatever. Yeah. And it was like, jack it up to like 10 grand. Yeah, just jack it right up, whatever, And I glitched the game somehow because I must have had like signed a heap of players and put all of their goal bonuses really at like 10 and just smoked everyone this season. And everyone like the players were like 50 yeah, pretty much, yeah. Like 50 goals, like one of my players, like you go to like the standings at the end of the year and like the top 10 players of goal scorers are all mine, and like some guys got like 100 goals or whatever. And then and like I start next season, and I remember starting it and I'm like, all of a sudden I'm like, it's like you can't proceed, you've got no money. And it's like negative like $50 million. I'm like, what the hell? Where's all my money gone? And like I'm trying to sell players, but it won't let me sell them. And I'm like, oh no, what have I done? And I couldn't proceed. I was so shattered. I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And I went, and I couldn't work out what happened. I'm like, what the hell has happened to this game? And I was living with a mate at the time, and he was like me with FIFA but SimCity. So he was like SimCity every night until like 4 in the morning, and like building his world and this, that, and the other. And like he left his computer on, right? It was on for as long as I lived with him. The computer was on, just running SimCity. Like would never turn it off. I have no idea why, but just would let it just like live, like let the city live.
Okay.
It was really weird. I went to him, and he was like really smart. And I'm like, what did I do? Please help me. Like, you're a smart guy. And we eventually worked out that somehow I managed to just screw myself by giving all these bonuses away. And at the end of the season, when everyone got paid their bonuses, there was nothing left in the kitty. I was like negative $50 million. I was like, oh no. So that was devastating. Do you have any fun stories like that?
No, nothing like that. I mean, in Football Manager, like I would get to the point where get the perfect team, the perfect setup. I'd keep bringing in young players and then just develop them perfectly and then win season after season. I think I went on like a 100-match winning streak, which is pretty good. But yeah, I win trophy after trophy. But then after a while, it stops getting fun and you want to get another challenge. So
I remember how attached I was to that team and how devastated I was when it all fell apart. Hurt, man.
I can imagine.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Probably the sports game that I've been getting into the most the last couple of years is NBA 2K. Like,
oh yeah, that's big, yeah.
Yeah, it's like huge, but like I had no attachment to NBA at all. I don't know why I picked it up, but I picked it up and I started playing the career mode, like the my player mode. I've been hooked. I would spend like hours and hours on that, and like I didn't feel the need to get the next iteration. I'd be happily stay like a couple of years behind, and just keep grinding away because it's like an 82 game season. I mean, you maybe get like through one or like I think I've got like 3 or 4 seasons in maybe because I'm playing all 82 games in like 20 minutes a piece.
Yeah, so, right. Yeah, takes a bit of time.
So, yeah, that's about. And I played NBA Jam back in the day. That was the best. Yeah.
So I never played any of the jam, like the Street or Jam or any of those games.
Really?
The only basketball game I ever played, I think it was on, it would have been PS1. And I just hired it or whatever from Video Store. And it was fun and whatever, but I never really got into the basketball games. I tried to play 2K16 because it was free on PlayStation Plus just last month or whatever, or a couple of months back. And it was hard. I'm like, what the hell? Like there was like a full art to it. And I just could not... I didn't have like the willpower to invest into like trying. I just wanted to like pick it up, play some fun games, and shoot some hoops or whatever. I'm like, yeah, this will be cool. I'll play some NBA, and I just could not. I'm like, no, this is like gone way past me. The same thing happened with Madden as well. I was like, what would it have been like Madden 09 or something like that. And I was like pro at it and had my team, and I was the Colts or whatever. That's another game I put thousands of hours into, but I tried to pick up like the next, like 2 years later, I picked it up to try and do like the next iteration, and it had just gone past me. I'm like, whoa, this is like the muscle memory of like you start and you're like, what the hell? What's happened? Like,
I changed it up a fair bit.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I remember playing a version on GameCube. It was like with my mates, and there was like 8 of us. We could not work out how to pass. So every play was run.
Yeah.
That didn't last. So that didn't last very long.
No doubt. No doubt. What's been your favorite sports game to play with friends?
Probably FIFA. I mean, it's an easy one. I think one of my favorite memories is on our formal night, instead of going out drinking or partying, we had a LAN party and played FIFA.
Oh, no.
And Halo, yeah.
Oh, no.
So, yeah.
That's
really
good.
impressive.
Yeah. Oh, God. It'd be it's probably one of the Tiger Woods games. It's similar with, it's either Tiger Woods or NHL. So that NHL game that I was talking about earlier that I used to go to my mate's house and play on the weekends or whatever, like we sunk hundreds of hours into that. But like later on in life, the same friend I used to play the World Cup FIFA games with. Like I used to go around and play like we would play golf like in the morning, like during the day, go to work at the restaurant, go back to his place, and play Tiger Woods until like 4 a.m. or whatever, and that was rad. Like those games are awesome. Like if you didn't play like golf games are fun. Like those games are fun. Like upgrading your player and making shots, and like even if you're not into, and I think that's a good thing about like sports games is they're all even if you don't like the sport, they are all fun. Like you can be like, I don't like cricket. Cricket games are fun to play. I don't like golf. Golf's boring. Golf games are fun to play. Just look at everybody's golf, how like popular that's been.
Everybody's talking about Golf Story right now. So
yeah, Golf Story. Like I have no context of what that even is, but everyone's like, "This game is amazing." I'm like, I assume there's an element of golf in it, but I imagine there's something else along to it. but yeah, it's like they're accessible, for everyone really.
Yeah.
You can jump in and you got to do tutorials a lot of the time to learn the mechanics and that. But once you do, you can have fun with them. Yeah, God.
How much do you think sports want their sports games to be good? Because it seemed like this year the AFL was really pushing for that AFL game. They wanted that out to get kids into the sport, as a gateway drug.
Yeah, most definitely they do. Like probably really badly. Especially like you said, the AFL one, and it's been because every game has been such a disappointment since like 1997. Especially this one this year. This was the one where it was like this. We have hope have like facial mapping, and it turns out it was just like 2 players in the team, and it was just horrible. I've still got it here. I'm half tempted to. I was going to trade it in, but I'm hoping that eventually they'll patch it just to the point of it being.
It's been patched a couple of times. It's not terrible.
Have you gone back and played it?
Yeah, a couple of times.
What do you reckon?
Not for extended periods. I mean, they've made the improvements that they needed to make. They made the marking easier. Made just helping with timing and that sort of thing. And they did the free kicks where before if you played on like straight away, you'd give up your advantage. But
they've been so disappointing, the AFL games, and that hurts. Like I remember, same friend that I played the NHL games with. They're like, AFL 2005 is coming out. It was like the first one for like a few years, and we were like, yes. Or it might have even been, when was it? Because I remember it was like the first game I ever pre-ordered, and we're like, yeah, I'm gonna get that. We're getting it. I'm like getting it when it comes out. We'll get that. And then I feel like it was around that time, like 2005, 2006, and I remember getting it, and we were so pumped. Like we both pre-ordered it. We're going like, this is gonna be awesome. I can't wait. It's gonna be like. We'd just been playing these awesome NHL games. Like, it's going to be that. But AFL, oh my God, we were so pumped. And got it and took it home and being so disappointed. We were like, this is garbage. And like, take it back. Returned it. AFL. And I remember, again, like, being really disappointed by I think it was the first AFL live on PS3. And because I remember that was in that point of time where I'd been playing FIFA, like, non-stop. Like hundreds and hundreds of hours into FIFA every single night for like months on end, and well, not hundreds of hours every night, but multiple hours every night, and then cumulatively hundreds of hours.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
Yes.
Good. And I remember it came out, AFL Live, the first one, same thing. Pre-ordered it. I'm like, yes, this is gonna be awesome. I'm just been in this FIFA like crack dream for a few months, and I'm like, yes, this is gonna be amazing. It's gonna be like, I'm so excited. I haven't had an AFL game forever on PS3. This is gonna be great. It's just gonna be like, it'll be awesome. I jumped into it, putting it in, expecting to be like, it's just gonna be like FIFA, but AFL. This is gonna be great. Like, if these guys can do it, surely you guys can do it. And being so disappointed.
Yeah, I think we've discussed it a number of times, but AFL is just a tough game to translate to a video game. I think.
But I don't feel like it is. Like, I mean, obviously it is. These guys aren't, they've got talent, obviously. But I would just be like, take the FIFA engine and just make it, like, go and lease it, right? Whatever you need to do. Borrow it, steal it, rebuild it. But use the same engine they use for FIFA and just tweak it for AFL. Because it is pretty much the same. Is that the ball goes in the air instead of along the ground, and passing is the same. You just extra pass or whatever it is. You do through passes, and like it's all the same. Tackling is the same. You're actually just tackling. Like the players you can chase down players rather than being. It's too like the AFL games are too claustrophobic. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're too. I can get that. It's a bit too space.
There's no space. Yeah. If it should be spread, like you should be able to spread it out. Like they're big ovals, they should be able to make that work. Anyway, we're going down another rabbit hole on that.
Yeah.
What else have you done? What other special sports video game memories have you got?
I would play some tennis games. I think it was Topspin. Was the game? Yeah, that was pretty good. Mario Tennis. Yeah, it wasn't. It was pretty solid. But yeah, I think what was
about
it?
Wii Sports?
Yeah, Wii Sports.
play-
Yeah,
Play a lot of
Bowling,
Wii
man.
Sports, bowling, tennis.
table tennis on Wii Sports Resort. That's where it's at. Table tennis.
Oh, I never got into Wii Sports. I had the cricket one. I was like, yeah. I remember when like the Wii came out and how fooled I was by it, being like, oh my god, this is gonna be awesome. We're gonna have like a full EA cricket game for the Wii, and I'm gonna stand in front of the TV, and they're gonna bowl down the thing, and I'm gonna be able to like play it. Like that's gonna be. Oh, and it never happened.
Yeah.
We got that beach cricket game.
No, I'm pretty sure they had a cricket, like a cricket version for the Wii.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't
with
believe
motion
you.
controls. It wasn't good.
Oh dear. Yeah, it can't have been.
No.
The old Wii, hey? Stooged everyone, that one did.
No, it did its job for Nintendo, so can't argue with that.
Yeah, let them have let them have a failed console the next time, and then Switch seems to be doing okay.
Yeah.
So what's your favourite sports game you've ever played? Like, what's the one that holds a special place in your heart that you're just like, yeah,
I don't know. It's hard to say
great memories.
because they're so constantly getting reiterated on. I mean, it's hard to like pick a single one out. It'd probably be the latest, maybe last year's FIFA. I've only just started getting to this year's FIFA, which came out the other week. But yeah, the story mode, the career mode from FIFA last year was really great. So that probably put it over the edge for me.
Yeah.
What about you, Jack? Obviously, FIFA 10.
Yeah,
NHL.
FIFA 10. Yeah, FIFA 10 probably. Just because of like the connection I had with that game, and that it was like my life for a great period of time in my life, where it was just, I was not a care in the world. I was just like, go home in my own place. Like it was the first, like I'd gone from, like I had my own place. Like I moved, as soon as I turned 18, I moved out of home and like lived up in the city while I was studying. But then I moved back home and like stayed at home with mum and dad for a little bit, and then moved out and I lived like with my uncle for like, I remember why, and I remember now why I loved it so much. So I lived with my uncle for a bit, which was fine, but it was still almost like living with living with your parents, because it's sort of like, you know, an old figure kind of thing, and you're like, yeah, whatever. Had to be quiet and couldn't do stuff and couldn't muck around and whatever. And then I moved out of there into a house with my mate who was like, he's do whatever the fuck you want. He's like, I don't sleep. We worked we worked in the same restaurant. He worked the same hours as me, so he was up until 5 a.m. playing. Like I thought that like I'm staying up late playing FIFA, and I would get up to grab a drink of water or something before I go to bed, and he's still up playing SimCity. Like, fantastic. And I remember now, because it was the first game that I ever played on my my first big screen TV, my 42-inch Hisense from Dick Smith. The first game I ever played on a flat screen, on my own flat screen TV with a HDMI cable. That was it. Yeah, that was like after that I've still been playing on my old 52 centimeter CRT TV that I got for my 15th birthday. And I finally got rid of that and got my own big screen. Jeez. Wow. That takes me back. Yeah. So FIFA 10 for sure. For sure.
Good choice.
I think so. Good chat.
Yep.
I feel like we didn't really cover anything. We kind of just talked.
Shrug.
I guess that's what Sideline Chats is all about, isn't it?
We just sort of went in circles.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Yeah.
We got to talk about some memories.
Hopefully somebody likes this.
Yeah, and I doubt it. I'm sure. As long as we like it, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
We can pick this up again another time, I reckon, when
Yeah.
we've got, I'm sure we get Jono on, Nick on, Kieran. We can talk about our experiences with sports games again down the track. But
yeah,
I think they are very important. And like I said, I think they're and you made a really good point, like the gateway into sports for people, and they're super fun.
Yeah.
And you don't often think about, when you think of like your favorite games of all time, you don't often think about sports games. So I might have to rethink my list about, especially with FIFA 10, because that game was,
man. If esports had been out have been a thing there back then, man. Whole different career for you, Jack.
I tell you what, I could have been something. I could have got picked up. I could have gone pro. I tell you what.
Yeah.
Tell you what. Nah. All right, let's move on. We should not neglect what is happening in the world of the AFL at the moment. It is trade week. As we discussed last week, we're all looking forward to it. We're going to see some blockbuster trades. So I guess we'll just go over what's happened so far. Today was day 2 officially of trade week, and nothing has happened.
What a surprise. How many weeks is this? 2 weeks?
2 weeks. Goes for 2 weeks. Finishes, I think, next Friday afternoon at like midday or something like that. Nothing has happened. It's just been a whole lot of jostling, showboating, grandstanding, if you will.
Yep.
No one's done anything. The only real move is Jackson Trengove has come to the Western Bulldogs as a free agent. Great, good times. Yep. I'm not sure he's going to be the, saviour to any of our problems, but he's a solid player, so I'm not complaining too much. Yeah. Heap of players have nominated where they want to go. Jarman Impey to Hawthorn. Jake Stringer's nominated Essendon. Josh Shackey looks like he's going to be on the way out. He's asked to be traded back to Victoria.
Yeah, that's a weird.
How do you feel about that?
It felt like it was coming. I mean, rumours came out like a month or two ago that when he went back to Victoria for like holiday, he took like all his stuff, like everything from his room.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting to see how the Lions play this because, I mean, Shackey hasn't really been in the team. He's been playing mostly reserves this year, and they've got a couple of players ahead of him, like Close and Josh Walker played a strong end to the season, and obviously Eric Hipwood's the number one forward. And they've got a good academy kid coming through this year, Connor Balladin. So he's another key forward. So I don't think they'd be too disappointed if they lose Josh. I mean, he's got all the potential in the world, but he just hasn't fulfilled it yet. Yeah. So
he's only 2 years in as well.
Yeah, he's only 2 years in, and they said if they're not like dead set on getting rid of him, so.
Yeah,
I mean, if a deal comes through, they're happy to let him go. But
they seem to be handling it really mature. I'm quite, to be fair, I'm quite impressed with Brisbane and how mature they're being about this because they've lost. Like we talked about Adelaide last week and the players they've lost, and we'll touch on their immaturity in the moment. But I'm quite impressed with the way that Brisbane's handled it, considering the talent that's walked out of the door over the last 5-6 years. The fact that their number 2 draft pick is now like, I want to go home. They're like, the guy wants to go home. Let's help him out. Like what's the point of making him stay here if he's not, if he wants to go home, let's just get something for him. So I think that the way that they're actually handling it will work out in the best interest for them because it's not going to drag out. Someone's going to come and go. There's enough clubs out there with enough to go. Okay, here's pick 15 or here's player and pick 20 or here's pick 12, whatever. Like there's enough going on out. There's enough clubs that can find a spot on their team for a developing full forward. Like the Doggies, we could easily, there's been talk that, Stringer to Essendon, pick 11 to the Doggies, pick 11 to Brisbane, Shackey to the Doggies. Yeah. I think Jake Stringer's worth 3 Josh Shackeys, but that could be a trade that I could see eventuating. I think it's fair for Brisbane. I think we probably lose out of the 3. Essendon get an All-Australian game, and that's the thing. Like Jake Stringer's a match winner. Yeah. Like he wins games off his own boot. Josh Shackey isn't that. Can he be that one day? Maybe. We all know full forwards take a lot longer to develop. Yeah. So it might be another 4 or 5 years before we see any return on that investment, whereas Jake Stringer can go to Essendon next year and win games of his own boot. Just on the maturity of Brisbane, man. The immaturity of Adelaide, boy, oh boy, wowee. So, if you didn't know...
So disappointed that we recorded so early last week, because this blew up the next day.
Oh my God. So it came out last week, not long after we got off the recording of Grandstand Gurus, that... Jake Lever, who is a very impressive young player who is from Melbourne originally, drafted by the Kruse, asked to be traded home this year. He's apparently got a very handsome offer on the table from the Melbourne Footy Club. He was told not to come to the best and fairest, which I find really disappointing. Like, and there's been a lot that's come out in the last couple. Apparently, that they were a lot of his teammates were asking for him to be dropped for finals. And they didn't want to play with him, which probably reads into a lot about what we were talking about last week with the bickering on the field
during the match. Yeah.
Yep. They clearly were not in sync with that. Just carrying on like that, and Tex Walker coming out and saying, he's disappointed. He's chosen money over success. Jimmy Bartell actually made a really good point today. He's gone, well, he's come out and he said, well, Tex, he's chosen money, but you haven't got success either. So it's not, you're not guaranteed success. You're saying he's chosen money over success. You haven't had any success. You ain't won nothing, mate. You didn't win the grand final. Yeah, but that doesn't count for anything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess.
In the grand scheme of things, what matters at the end of the day is a flag. You don't get it. You get a pat on the back and a couple extra bucks from the AFL for the minor premiership. What players play for, what teams play for, and clubs play for is that cup. And they haven't got it. And there's no guarantee that they're going to get it next year. I mean, we got, the Western Bulldogs who weren't able to even make the finals after winning the grand final the year after. So there's no guarantees for anyone that, Adelaide are going to have success. And I think they just carried on poorly. There's just, and this is all
look good.
No, not at all. And this whole thing with their BNF, like the voting, like Jake Lever was probably one of their best players for the year. He did not even get into the top 10.
Yeah, the conspiracy theory around that is interesting.
Well, there's a lot of talk that, obviously written into players' contracts is performance bonuses. So, win the best and fairest, you get a bonus. Make the top 10, you get a bonus. Win the goal kicking, you get a bonus. All these types of things. And there's talk that they doctored the voting so that he wouldn't walk out with a payday on his way out, which again is, if they get caught out for that, they're going to be in trouble. They've mucked around with this kind of thing before. The whole Kurt Tippett thing, I wouldn't be playing with fire if I was them. So they've handled themselves really poorly, I think. And they've made themselves look like they've had a really bad couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Since losing the grand final. They've had a bad couple of weeks. Now they're saying they're not going to trade. They're refusing to even discuss trading Charlie Cameron, even though he's asked to be traded home to Brisbane. It's not...
They met with Melbourne, and apparently Melbourne showed their offer, and the guy just walked out.
The Adelaide player?
Yeah, the Adelaide recruit.
The Adelaide stuff. Yeah, so I think it was Burton, who's in footy ops for Adelaide. He came out and said that offer would make him one of, if not the most high-paid players at Adelaide, if we were to match that offer.
Yeah.
Which is pretty insane. So... he's a good player. I don't know if he's that good. He's a very good player, though. So, I mean, who knows? He could be the next Alex Rance.
Could be.
That's worth quite a bit, it seems. So, I guess Stringer watch. There's been talk in the last couple of days that it's looking more likely that he will stay at the Bulldogs.
Really?
Yeah, so the Bulldogs have basically said to Essendon, we want pick 11 or it's not getting done. Essendon have got to satisfy 3 trades, really. They've got to get Ahmed Saad, who wants to play for him from the Gold Coast. They've got to get Devon Smith, who wants to come from GWS. And they want to get Jake Stringer. I don't know how they get all 3 of those done.
No way they get all 3 done.
So, Doggies have said, it's pick 11 or that's it. Like, that's what we want. Straight swap. Which I think is fair.
Yeah.
I think it's unders. But with what's come out in the last couple of weeks... you could argue either way. It's going to make it for a very awkward season next year if he stays. Like, how is that going to look? How is that going to affect the team internally? There's been a whole lot more. We've spoken about it before, but like the whole bullying thing that's been going on internally with a few players, and there's been a lot of talk and rumours and stuff like that. I don't want to give it too much oxygen, but it's almost at that point now where you just get him out. And I appreciate that we're playing hard. Over the years, we've been walked over ridiculously, and players have left us for nothing. Great players. We used to give away Brownlow medalists like they were going out of fashion. So we gave... was it Barry Round and Bernie Quinlan that won it in the same year? We gave them both away, and they both went... we gave away back in like the 70s or 80s. We traded out 2 players, and they they both won the Brownlow. They joint won the Brownlow the next year.
Yeah.
So
that sounds like something would happen to the Bulldogs.
Yeah, it does. But so yeah, I don't know. Maybe maybe Stringer will play, and maybe he'll stay, and they'll reconnect, and he'll pull his head in. But
yeah,
I feel like he's the kind. Maybe he's just going to be so bitter and twisted after this whole fiasco that, I mean, if he was motivated this year after winning a premiership, I don't know how motivated he's going to be next year. At Fiesta State of the Bulldogs, but hopefully they can get that deal done. Pick 11, and it's over. It's done, and we can all move on with our lives. Stringer watch will be over, but I guess we'll find out about that.
Probably won't be done till the last day.
No, you're probably right.
Yep.
Yeah, you're probably right. Like all the good trades happen.
Yeah.
Okay. Time to move on to everybody's favourite segment. It's Flog of the Week.
Flog of the Week. Sorry.
Thank you. No, that's all right. You gotta.
Yeah. Sorry, Kieran.
No. Don't apologise to him. Apologise to me.
I'm sorry.
So we have 4 nominations for Flog of the Week this week. We have Joseph Zucker first up, who is the coach of the Miami Dolphins, who was videoed allegedly snorting a white powder.
Wink, wink.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Joseph, you silly duffer. You are nominated for Flog of the Week.
Jeez. Got to watch out for those cameras.
Yeah, you got to be better than that. That's the old Jake Carlisle trick, that one. Our next nomination, Russell Westbrook from the Oklahoma. That's his name, isn't it? Russell Westbrook.
Yep, Westbrook.
Yep. From the Oklahoma City Thunder. He came out and said before the Melbourne United game, he was asked by a reporter, what are you expecting from the Melbourne United team? And he said, I ain't expecting an expletive word that means poo. He said he wasn't expecting anything basically from our players. And they just about beat your backside. So, Mr. Russell Westbrook, you are also nominated for Flog of the Week this week. Congratulations. Cam Newton. Give us a lowdown on the Cam Newton nomination, Ashley.
So during a press conference, he was asked by a female reporter about one of his receivers running their routes, and he pretty much said, "Oh, I find it funny when a woman asks me about football." So yeah, he's pretty bit sexist.
He's a bit of a. He's quite. Yeah. That's quite toolish, if you ask me. And he plays for the Detroit
Carolina
Lions.
Panthers.
Detroit Lions? Is he?
I thought it was the Panthers.
Maybe his Panthers. Yeah, no, his Panthers. Sorry, they played the Lions. Sorry, I'm not up to date. Cam Newton, what are you doing, son? Come on, mate. Pull your head in. And our 4th nomination is a nomination from internally here at the Explosion Network. It comes from Nick Pryor. Nick nominates Nick's fantasy football team because it seems that every single player that he has gets injured or loses and doesn't play well. So not as star-studded, stacked lineup. Very NFL heavy. All-American lineup this week. What are we thinking? Hard to go past Cam Newton.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but I think we got to give it. I think we got to give it that. I think we got to. We got a. What do you call it when you have the court case and the jury and they're all unanimous?
Unanimous. Yeah.
Unanimous decision. Cam Newton, congratulations, sir. You are our Flog of the Week this week. You are joining some illustrious company. You got Ray Hadley in there. You got Johnny Bones Jones. You got Kieran and Ash. I'm scribing you into the board right now. Cam Newton, you too. Congratulations. You are our Flog of the Week. Cam Newton. Beautiful. Okay. Ashley Hobley, what are you looking forward to this weekend?
Personally, excited to see the Raw play again this week. They lost this last week, so hopefully we get a win at home for the first time this season. But the big match of the weekend is going to be Melbourne City versus Melbourne Victory.
Ooh, it's always a derby.
The derby. Yeah, it's
are you a Derby or Derby fan? Like Derby or Derby? You're Derby? Yeah, I'm Derby as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds about right. But then do you say Destruction Derby or Destruction Derby?
That's a derby.
Are they the same thing, though? They're the same thing?
Same spelling.
It's
It's weird.
Did you ever play any racing games? We didn't talk about racing games.
Mario Kart.
I played so many hours of Gran Turismo 3, only because it came with my PS2, and it was the only game that I had for many months.
Yeah. Again, I'm terrible at racing games because I don't like to break.
So was I. Do you know what I used to do? I used to do the exact same race, like the first race. I used to do it over and over again because I was terrible and I didn't brake, and I would just accelerate around every corner and go off the sides. But I would play I'd play that race, and there's really good soundtracks in those games. But I muted every song except for the feeder songs. So there was the 3 feeder songs in Gran Turismo 3.
I just remembered another series we need to talk about. Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Oh, what the hell? We didn't even talk about Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
Oh, no. We'll say that for Jono. Jono's a big Tony Hawk fan. We'll pick this up in Sideline Chats.
At some point.
Part 4. But I remember just on the Gran Turismo, I used to do the same race over and over again, which was pretty much just that circle course, because you could just accelerate the whole time. You didn't have to do anything. And I used to just do that over and over again, and you'd get $1,000 each time, or 1,000 credits or whatever it was, which was the currency of the game. And so I'd do it like 30 times in a row to like buy the next car up, and it was stupid. I was terrible at it.
Yeah. Only one, Need for Speed Underground 2.
Oh,
right after Fast and Furious, so...
Yeah, that was sweet. Need for Speed. I don't think I played number 2, but number 1 was dope.
Yeah.
Loved it. Syria and Australia are playing tonight, aren't they?
Yep. In a couple of hours. Oh, no, a couple of minutes.
Yep. So I'd say I'm looking forward to that, but
yeah.
I feel like we're going to get beat. And
that means... I don't know. It depends on what referee they have.
Is the World Cup over if we...
If we lose, then we're not... We need to win. Or we need to have a scoreless draw to progress to the next round. And then we'll play... a team from North America, I think, is the conference. So it's either... At the moment, it's looking like it's going to be Panama.
Interesting. Panama.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I have no thing I'm looking forward to this weekend. No, there's no sports really on that I'm really interested in, which is sort of liberating in a way.
It's that lull before the cricket season starts for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Before the Ashes.
Which is going to be good. So I think we lost the first T20, which is great. But yeah, I guess that's it.
That is it.
Interesting. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining Ashley and myself for Sideline Chats Part 3. I'm so relaxed that I can't even speak.
Probably.
There's been a very extra special episode of Sideline Gurus. Ashley, where are we? What are we doing? Where are we from?
You're trying to do the outro.
Yeah.
We're from the Explosion Network. You can find all our stuff at explosionnetwork.com, where you can find this show, other shows. You can go to bit.ly/Explosion Network to see all our YouTube stuff.
Yes,
you can also find us at twitch.tv/Explosion Network.
Absolutely.
We're streaming all sorts of stuff. We might be streaming sports games. Who knows?
Hard to say. Schedule's all over the place at the moment.
Yeah, it is. You can find Jack at Kruse _mate on Twitter. Yep, you can find me at Ashley Hobley, ASHLEYHOVLEY. What else do you say?
What about the Explosion Network? Where can you find them on Twitter?
Oh, yeah, you can find us at Explosion Pod.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Nailed it. And,
ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. What's the other stuff I say?
Keep on grandstanding. And then Kieran normally comes out with a wrestling theme.
Yeah.
Yeah? Is that it?
We don't have any wrestling themes tonight.
No.
That's it. Bye-bye, everyone.
Cheers.
Hey, listen, Kieran here. If you haven't heard, the Explosion Network will be streaming for 24 hours and participating in Extra Life on November 4th, raising money for the Sick Kids Centre for Global Child Health. Head on over to explosionnetwork.com/extralife for all the details on how you can help us, including donating, giving us some ideas for challenges, or games you'd like to see us play. October 27th to 29th, apparently Pack Melbourne's happening, and I'm going to be there with Dylan, Ash, and Jono. So feel free to come say hey if you see us on the show floor. Then, there's a disturbance in the Force. On October 27th, we'll be launching a Star Wars podcast in the lead up to Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Of course, our weekly shows will always continue. Pleasure Explosion Mondays, Platinum Explosions on Tuesdays, and Grandstand Gurus Thursdays. All at 12 p.m. Catch our live streams where I like to dwell during the evenings at twitch.tv/Explosion Network, and keep your targets locked on explosionnetwork.com for all our explosive content. Shout out to Bevan.